Okay, on the Blood Angel side for our HQs, we have Mephiston and just a standard librarian in Terminator armor. For our first troop choice, we have a 10-man tactical squad. Sergeant is just a standard sergeant with a chainsword and bolt pistol, and we have a missile launcher and a flamer. For a second troop choice, we have a 5-man scout squad. We have a missile launcher, and the sergeant and the rest of them have sniper rifles, and they have camo cloaks. Again, it's just a standard sergeant. For the elite slot, we have a dreadnought with multi-melta and a power fist with the storm bolter, and he's riding in a drop pod. For a second elite choice, we have a 5-man group of Sanguinary Guard with death masks. Standard kit, so it comes with 2 axes and 3 swords. For a heavy support, we have a las cannon predator tank. As an first allied detachment, we have a Vindicator assassin. Finally, for a second allied detachment, we have an Imperial Knight. This is the Paladin. Okay, on the Imperial Guard for the HQ, we have Commissar Yarrick. Okay, for the first troop choice, we have a 10-man veteran squad. The sergeant is just a las pistol chainsword. Special weapons, we have 2 grenade launchers and 1 melta-gun. And they do have a dedicated transport of a Chimera. And the Chimera has multi-laser, heavy bolter, and a heavy stubber. For a second troop choice, we have another 10-man veteran squad. This one led by Gunnery Sergeant Harker. And they have 3 sniper rifles, and they have the camo cloaks upgrade. For an elite choice, we have a 5-man Rattling squad. As our 2 heavy support choices, we have 2 Lehman Russ battle tanks. One of them, your standard battle tank, and with las cannon heavy bolter sponsons. And the other one, we have the Executioner with plasma sponsons and a las cannon in front. And finally, we have a heavy, Lord of War choice of a Bane sword with las cannon sponsons with twin-link heavy bolters. Alright, here we are after deployment, and the Blood Angels, we lined ourselves up pretty good. Both Mephiston and the Librarian joined that tactical squad after they combat squatted down. Snipers up there, so they can still get the objective and maybe shoot somebody. The Imperial Knight, ready to dash in. This combat squad with the missile launcher guy over here, and the last pred over there. On the guard side, Rattlings put themselves up with that objective. We got the battle tank kind of covered in over here. That is the Shadow Sword, right? Shadow Sword there. 1 veteran squad with the snipers up top of the hill. Chimera with the other veteran squads, and Yarrick, and then the Executioner over there. And we've already rolled, and the Blood Angels did not steal, so we'll be back after the Guards turn 1. Alright, after the Guards turn 1, this guy just kind of inched himself up a little bit. He did move him all the way 12 and then realized he didn't really want to be closer to the Titan, so he backed up a bit. Fired at the Titan, who only lost a whole point. These Rattlings fired at the tactical squad, but didn't manage to do anything. The battle tank fired at the Knight, but did not manage to get through. Harker and the snipers fired at the scouts and did not manage to do anything. But this super heavy fired some heavy bolters over there and killed a couple, and then they failed their fleeing check, and then they flew off the table, however you want to look at it. That Executioner fired at the Sanguinary Guard and wiped out all but 1 because he couldn't see them. Other than that, they would have been wiped off the map. So, first blood for the Guard. So we'll be back after Blood Angels. After the Blood Angels turn 1, the Sanguinary Guardsman ran over there to control that objective. The Vindicator stayed put where he was at and shot at the Leman Russ, but did not quite manage to get through his front armor. This squad moved forward 6, and then Mephiston did his Wings of Sanguinius and moved them another 12. And then they shot at that veteran squad over there. The Imperial Knight fired his battle cannon and heavy service of that squad, and between the two of them, they did wipe out that squad. The missile launcher from here and the last cannons from here fired at the super heavy, but all they managed to do was one glancing hit. The drop pod with the dreadnought came in from reserves, dropped in there, and did his multi-melta shot, but he weapon destroyed them, so he lost one of his plasma guns, and then he lost the whole point. So that is where we're sitting after Blood Angels. We'll be back after turn 2. Alright, after the guards turn 2, the battle cannon and last cannon and the super heavy all fired at the Imperial Walker and only stripped off a hull point off of him, so he's doing really good. We forgot to mention it, but this guy did lose a hull point and what do I want to say, was shaken last turn, so he snap fired everything at that librarian who made his saves. The guys inside and this Leman Russ all fired at him, and it was really epic when all of his blast templates all scattered back onto himself, but of course can't hurt himself with 14 front armor, so just that little dreadnought, he managed to live. That's not looking good for that Leman Russ. Next turn, oh yeah, these Ratlings, they fired at, got a precision strike, and took out the missile launcher, so that wasn't too bad. We'll be back after Blood Angels turn 2. Okay, after the Blood Angels turn, the tactical squad decided to move forward. The Predator went ahead and went 12 inches forward. Didn't get stuck in the train, thankfully. They both shot at these Ratlings and took off a couple, but they actually made their leadership test. Surprise, surprise. The Imperial Knight did manage to get forward and close combat attack the super heavy tank and took him out. The Dreadnought all the way over there did use his multi-melta and missed, but then in close combat, of course, he finished off that Leman Russ. These guys tried to charge and their psychic powers, and they basically failed everything. So they just kind of stuck right there. I'm not sure if I even moved them 6 inches. Whoops! Vindicaris fired at the Chimera and managed to strip hull point and took off his main weapon. So that is where we sit. We will be back after turn 3. The guards turn 3, the Ratlings fired at the tactical guys and killed off one more. So one lone guy on that combat squad, he'll be fine. Battle Cannon fired his last cannon and top gun at the Imperial Knight, but did not manage to do anything. These guys went forward and then disembarked and then assaulted Mephiston squad here, and Yark issued a challenge which the Librarian accepted, and the Librarian died in that challenge because he whipped his rolls. Other than that, we killed off 4 of the Guardsmen, so it's kind of an even fight, not too bad there. So, and that's pretty much it for the Guardsmen, so we'll be back after Blood Angels turn 3. Alright, Blood Angels turn 3. We moved forward, shot at those Ratlings and finished them off. The Imperial Knight moved forward and finished off the Leman Russ. The drop pod in the Vindicator fired at the Chimera and finished it off. This Dreadnought went into close combat, and through all that, Mephiston whiffed all but one hit. Yeah, everybody was pretty whiffing, but so the only ones left on the guard side on the entire table is Commissar Yarrick and 1 Sergeant. So we're going to go ahead and do this close combat for the Imperial Guard and see if that finishes it off. So we'll be right back. Okay, so here's what happened after the entire turn 4. Both Imperial Guard and Blood Angel player turn. The Imperial Guard lost his Sergeant. Yarrick is still alive. He keeps making every single one of his invulnerable saves. And Mephiston also failed his psychic, or no, excuse me, he denied his psychic quickening. So we are still here in combat. So now we're going to continue this to turn 5 just to see if we can actually kill Yarrick or not. So we will be back. Okay, so here's how turn 5 worked out. There was an ongoing challenge between Mephiston and Yarick, and again, he made all of his saves, or maybe just failed one, and then attacked and successfully wounded Mephiston 2 more times, killing off Mephiston, getting Slay the Warlord and possibly another objective. And then these tactical marines fled and then turned around and assaulted back in. So again, this is the same combat that's going on. And again, Yarick refused to take a wound. In this case, he also whiffed against the tactical squad. And then we rolled for the end of the game, and the game did end. It was a victory for the Blood Angels by objective points, because Blood Angels had like 8 or 9 objectives, and the Guard had 3 or 4. It was about half. However, I think we can all agree we're going to count this as a victory for the Imperial Guard, because Yarick won't die. Thanks for watching. Game on.